This came right on time. Oh, and I added some cherries to my collection. The ghost was hungry. In 2013, some friends and I visited the American Southwest. We completed a 2,000 plus mile road trip that hit most of the national parks in the region. One of those parks was the Grand Canyon, and the evening we stayed there coincided with the peak of the Perseid meteor shower.
Quickly wanted to add my welcome aboard. Thank you for making the effort to come join us this early Sunday morning. Quick flight, 2 hours 27 minutes on our flight down to Phoenix. At 35,000 feet departing to the south today. Should be fairly painless. You'll have to take a nap, I hope. Nice day in Phoenix with light winds and mostly clear skies. Might be a few bumps on the first half hour of our cruise, but outside of that, really nothing to talk about. Again, thanks for getting up so early to join us on our flight to Phoenix.
With its dark skies, it was a perfect place to watch the shooting stars. It was a spectacular show, but I didn't take any pictures of this phenomenon. Fast forward to August 2019, and I had the idea of revisiting and compositing the meteors over the canyon at night to make an epic shot. So despite the warning of a full moon that might make this year's meteors hard to see, when Alaska Airlines had a flash sale on airline tickets, I bought a trip to Phoenix. This is that trip. I thought the terrain that we were flying over is particularly interesting and gave a preview of the geological features that we were headed to, so I'll let the flight play out.
Now shortly to offer water, followed by our service featuring a selection of non-alcoholic beverages as well as cocktails, craft beers, wine, and food for purchase. Alaska Visa Signature card holders now receive a 20% rebate on all Alaska Airlines in-flight purchases when you pay. Welcome to Phoenix. The local time is 8:16 a.m. Please keep your seatbelts on. Our pilots will turn out the seatbelt sign when it's safe to get up. Leave all your items stowed where they are until we do reach the gate. If your phone is closed, you can take it out of airplane mode at this time. We're very excited to inform you that for the 12th straight year, Alaska Airlines has been ranked highest in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. All 23,000 of us here at Alaska appreciate your support and thank you. We're going to ask you a small favor here because of the heat here in Phoenix. We're going to ask you to close your window shades and make sure your air vents are open. That'll help keep the plane cool for our next group of passengers.
Airports. Sky Harbor's rental facility is a good distance from the terminal and requires a shuttle ride. Nice, they got a little cooling station here. 32C, it's hot. This was the first time I rented with Sixt, and I read some really bad reviews about this location in particular, where people were charged after the fact for damages they didn't cause, or changes of terms, but there were enough recent good reviews that I decided to give it a shot. Plus, my Chase Sapphire Reserve card offers pretty good rental car protection. Even so, I made sure to give the car a good look over before I drove off with it, and I'm pretty sure I annoyed the hell out of the lady at the counter with all my damage reports. Better safe than sorry, and even better, I documented it all on video. I would advise you to do the same no matter where you rent from. Get that AC on. 91 degrees, that's ridiculous. I mean, like, seriously, how do I adjust the steering wheel? This thing's like down to the floor here. Where's the latch for it? There's no latch for it. Genius. You're seriously trying to tell me that's a shifter? These little buttons. Oh my god, that's so cute. I'm speechless. 98 freaking degrees. Well, we are here in downtown Phoenix, going to get breakfast. I mean, it is a Sunday morning, but it is so quiet here. There's like hardly anybody out.
What's the place called?
Centrico. It's cool they got the misters going down because it's so hot. It was time for a southwestern breakfast. We decided to try Centrico because it was one of the only places open at this hour, and it ended up being pretty good. How's that? Well, that mist feels good. Running on no sleep for nearly 24 hours since I worked the previous day and didn't get to packing until just hours before our early morning flight, this is where we begin our drive 224 miles north, past Sedona, past Flagstaff, ending at the south rim of the Grand Canyon National Park. If you like the Southwest at all, I highly recommend making a playlist of your favorite tunes and making a road trip out here. I don't know about you, but I find the desolation and vast expanses of the Southwest particularly peaceful, enchanting, and absolutely beautiful in its own way, and I love driving out here. It's also quite easy to make good time, with less and more courteous traffic, in addition to higher speed limits than you may be used to. The terrain changes from an arid desert to a forest the closer you get to the canyon. When you see the elk crossing signs, you know that you're out of the desert. With how hot it was funny to see signs warning of ice and chain-up areas, but it actually does get cold here, and this is something to remember if you visit in the winter. As you approach Flagstaff, you catch a good sight of the wonderfully massive San Francisco peaks, including 12,000 plus foot Humphreys Peak, the remnants of San Francisco Mountain, which lie in the Coconino National Forest just beyond the city. I'd like to come back here someday to explore these mountains. Note that it's possible, albeit a bit more expensive, to fly into Flagstaff directly, which puts you much closer to outdoor activities. Soon it was time for lunch. We ate at Hot Wok, one of the only Chinese joints we could find that had Chinese barbecue-style kebabs. The food was decent enough. Next door there was a coffee shop that looked interesting, but I didn't try it because I wanted to get the new Arizona mug at Starbucks. I collect them everywhere I go. And I needed fast Wi-Fi to find an Airbnb for the next night. You're all good, yeah?
Yep. Do you know where you're going?
Yep. And then we were on our way. It really is a pretty drive, especially with all these wildflowers along the side of the road. My days while traveling always revolve around sunrise and sunset times, as I'm always trying to get pictures during the best light, which usually means I'm racing against either the rising or the setting sun. We are chasing the sun.
Take the exit, then turn right onto State Route 64.
The drive from Williams and north up 64 is the final stretch of the canyon going through the Kaibab National Forest. The last time I was here, I entered the park via the east side at Desert View, which is far more primitive and natural compared to the commercialized town of Tusayan, just before the South Park entrance. Kinda looks like the ocean out there, huh? Oh my god, you have a McDonald's right here, this is crazy. There's a Big E Steakhouse. There's a Wendy's here. The airport is also near here if you end up doing a helicopter tour. There's even a Starbucks. Once you get into the park, things quiet down. Wildlife frequents this area, so drive carefully. At the village, there's a post office and a general store with prepared food, groceries, and camp supplies. Get your firewood here to prevent bringing any non-native invasive wood insects into the park. The full moon was already up and high in the sky. If nothing else, it would provide good light for the canyon. After checking in at the campground, we drove straight to Grandview Point, which I had selected for sunset with not a minute to spare. If you've never seen the canyon in person, you really need to make the effort to go. As soon as you see the last rays of light from the day sweeping across and falling below the canyon, the long drive seems all worth it.